a quick review for you. I'm going to be reviewing two new L'Oreal products, or at least newish L'Oreal products. You've probably already heard a bit about them if you watch a bit of YouTube, but I'm going to be reviewing the L'Oreal Voluminous Miss Manga Rock Mascara and also the L'Oreal Palette Nude 2. I got both of these at the London Jugs beauty event, which I've mentioned before. They were in my haul video a few weeks ago, as well as a get ready with me chatty first impressions type video. Yeah, and I also wanted to compare the Palette Nude 2 to the Naked 3 palette by Urban Decay. But first I just wanted to go over my thoughts quickly on the L'Oreal mascara. This is the Miss Manga Rock. So it is a new version of their Miss Manga mascara, which I believe had a pink tube. That's what the brush looks like there. I also have pictures of this on my blog. I'm not wearing it today. But it does have a really interesting brush. It's got sort of a cone shape, and it's really spiky, with some short bristles and some longer ones. And basically the idea of this is that it gives you very spiky lashes. And depending how many coats you put on is going to amplify how spiky it looks. With one coat it looks pretty natural, just a little bit spidery. If you do a bunch more, and it's going to clump up a lot more. But that is the point of the mascara, so you can't really be mad at it for that. I did try out the non-waterproof, so I can't talk about how good the waterproof was. But I didn't find that this flaked on me, and it was sweaty, so I didn't find that I got super smudgy or anything throughout the day. So for a non-waterproof mascara, I actually really liked this one. Yeah, this is not really an everyday type of mascara just because it is so spiky, but it's a really interesting, really dramatic look. I would never put on more than 2 coats. I personally only do 1, and I make sure to work through the lashes with the brush just to get out as many of the clumps as I can. It's very, very voluminous, not really as lengthening. This is pretty interesting, and I will continue to wear that. So on to the Palette 2 Nude. There are 2 of these, I believe. The first one is more of a goldy bronzy one, and this one is more of a pinky one. So this is what it looks like inside. It does have a nice mirror at the top and 10 shades, as well as a dual-ended brush and sponge tip applicator. Neither of these is bad, but neither of them is particularly great. I do still use my own brushes. But yeah, these are what they look like. A lot of plummy pinky shades, some browns, very neutral, and very purple. If you love purples, you're going to love this palette. They actually are really good quality. They're quite pigmented. I don't find that they have a whole lot of fallout, and they're really easy to blend. They do have a good mix of shimmery and matte. There are actually quite a few matte. I believe these 3 are all matte. That one might be a satin. These 2 are shimmer. Sorry, this one's a shimmer, then another matte, another shimmer, 2 more mattes, and then these 2 are shimmery satiny ones. Yeah, and they're actually really nice. I was not expecting that much from this palette because I have tried out the Maybelline The Nudes palette, and I was expecting this to be approximately on par with that one. But this one's probably a lot better palette in my opinion. You also get a lot of shadow. They're big. You get 17 grams overall, and in the Urban Decay one, maybe 15 grams. I'm not going to do that math right now. I'll put an annotation down below if I figure that out later. So yeah, this is really good. However, do I think it is a dupe for the Naked 3? At first glance, I didn't think so at all. I'm going to hold them up side by side for you. At first glance, I figured that the Naked 3 was a much pinker palette, and this one is a much more purple taupe palette. However, on swatching them and comparing the shades, I find that they have a lot of very similar shades. So while it's not a perfect dupe, it might be good enough if you just don't have the money to spend on an Urban Decay palette. For example, Canadian, this one, I've seen it anywhere from $23 to $29, whereas the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette is going to be $64 Canadian. So definitely a good deal. You could get both palettes for the price of one Naked palette. Yeah, I just want to go through color by color and show you which color each one sort of corresponds to in the Naked 3 palette. So this first shade here, unfortunately they don't have names, so this is just shade number 1. Shade number 1 I find is basically a mix between Strange and Dust. So that's shade number 1, and then that's Strange and Dust beside it. Hopefully my colors even out. The L'Oreal shade is a lot more champagne and shimmery than Strange, but a lot less shimmery than Dust, which sort of has mini glitters in it. If you do mix the two together, then they come out to be a pretty similar shade. Shade number 2 is very similar, but a bit different to Burnout. So that's the two of them there. This one is the L'Oreal, and this is Burnout from the Urban Decay palette. Yeah. Also with the L'Oreal palette, all of these shimmery shades are shimmery but not metallic, whereas in the Naked palette they tend to be metallic if they're shimmery. So that's the L'Oreal one, and that is the Urban Decay. Next is this shade, shade number 3, and it is closest to the shade Limit from the Naked 3 palette. These are both matte shades, so that's the two of them right up there. This one is from the L'Oreal palette, and that one is Limit. So this one's a lot browner than Limit, but they are very similar and both matte, as you can see. Shade number 4, which is this one here, really has no corresponding color in the Naked palette. It is very brown and very, very deep. And there are really no brown shades in this palette. So that one doesn't really have a corresponding color. Shade number 5, so this one right here, is similar to Mugshot, but again is shimmery where Mugshot is metallic. So there's the two of them there. That's Mugshot, and that one is the L'Oreal shade, and there's the two of them swatched on my hand. As you can see, it's super metallic on Mugshot, but a lot more subtle on the other one. They're very similar colors though. 6 right here. It's another brown warm color, like number 4, but it is a bit warmer. This one is somewhat similar to the shade Factory from the Naked 3 palette. However, Factory is a metallic color, whereas this one is a matte. I definitely wouldn't call them dupes, as you can see there, but there are very similar tones, so depending on the type of tutorial you're trying to follow or the type of look you're trying to accomplish, the L'Oreal palette might work as a dupe for the Urban Decay. Number 7 is another one of these shimmery shades and is somewhat similar to Liar from the Naked 3 palette. This is the L'Oreal, and this one here is the Urban Decay. Again, much more metallic in the Urban Decay shade, and also a lot rosier. That one there is the Urban Decay, and that one there is the L'Oreal. But similar shades, like similar enough that you could get a very similar look. But again, the L'Oreal ones tend to be much more brown than the Naked 3 palette shades, which for some people would be a lot easier to wear. But if you are trying to dupe the Naked 3, then the brown isn't going to help you. Number 8 is probably the palest shade in the palette. This one's number 8 right here. This one's actually one that is less brown. This one's very similar to Limit, which is the second palest matte shade in the Naked 3 palette. This one here is Limit, and this one here is the L'Oreal. I swatched that awkwardly, but as you can see, that paler one, the paler one on the bottom here, is from the L'Oreal palette, and the higher one is Limit. So those are quite different, and also the L'Oreal one ends up looking a lot chalkier. So whereas Limit's a great sort of crease transition color, this one might be more of a highlight. You might be able to get away with it as a transition color, but those are fairly different. It might be sort of like if you mixed Strange and Limit together. That might be sort of a similar color. And then just 2 more. So number 9 here is this sort of mauve-y purpley color. This one is more pale than Nooner, which is the more purple than Nooner, which is the other matte color, and yet another good crease or transition color from the Naked 3. So this one is the L'Oreal, and this one is the Urban Decay. And there, as you can see, the browner one is the Urban Decay, and that one is the L'Oreal. Similar colors, but again, just not quite, which is what I find most of this palette is. It's like close, right? None of them are exact dupes, but it's a close approximation. Then finally we have 10, which is this deep plummy purple shade. This type of color that I'm sure tons of people would like. And this one is, again, a matte color, whereas the Urban Decay, the closest Urban Decay one is a shimmery metallic-y color. So that is the L'Oreal and that is the Urban Decay. While I think these colors would look excellent together in a look, I don't think they're close enough to even be dupes, but this is the closest approximation between the two palettes. As you can see, this one is a very deep plummy color and this one's sort of a mauvey, deep taupey metallic. Both beautiful colors, but not really the same. And then there are 3 colors from the Naked 3 palette that have nothing similar in this palette. There's just nothing to approximate them. And those colors are Buzz, Trick, and Dark Horse. Blackheart. These are 3 of the most sort of glittery colors. Buzz and Trick are both very glittery. They are very prone to fallout, but they're beautiful. Very good as toppers, and you can sort of build them up with the right base, and they're really, really pretty. You just have this very pinky, rosy gold one and this very pretty coppery one. They're just absolutely gorgeous, and there's nothing, unfortunately, in the L'Oreal one that's similar. And then Blackheart is one of my favorite colors in this palette, and it is essentially like a matte black with sort of purpley red glitters in them, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's really great for smoking out the edges of your look, for in the crease, in the outer corner, or to use sort of as like a shadow liner. And yeah, again, there's nothing like that in the L'Oreal. There's nothing even close to a black. The closest one is that purple on the end. So if you were looking at the Palette Nude as a dupe for the Naked 3, I don't think you would be completely satisfied. However, if you just can't afford the Naked 3 and you do love the pinks and purples and sort of taupey idea, then this might be a really great budget idea for you. It's still a lot more expensive than most drugstore shadows, but you get 10 colors in here for $30. That's $3 a shadow, right? So it's actually a really good deal. They're big shadows. They're very easy to work with. You have a great mix of mattes and shimmers and paler colors and deeper colors. So you have your highlights, your crease shades, your lid shades, transition shades. So it's a really great palette on its own. I just don't think it's a dupe for the Naked 3, which isn't a problem. I mean, because now if you were planning to get them both, now you can do that because they're not the same thing. But yeah, if you are really in love with the metallics and the bright, shimmery, beautiful colors like these 3 that I still have swatched on my hand, Buzz, Trick, and Blackheart, then nothing but the Naked 3 is going to do that for you. Urban Decay is so good at their shimmers and their metallics, but if you do really love the mattes, then the L'Oreal palette might actually be a better choice for you. So I hope that this review and swatch video was helpful for you. I thought it'd be really cool to compare them side by side for you so you could have a really good look at it, because there's no way you're going to be able to swatch the two unless you like take your Naked 3 palette into the drugstore and try and swatch them both, assuming your drugstore even lets you swatch the little palette. So I hope that you liked this video and found it useful or interesting. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you did like it, and subscribe to see more videos from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!